Hi, Olga. This is the second essay correction. Let's take a look at it. Income tax comparison for civil status. Okay, with the singles consistently higher. Let's see what you wrote. The graph reveals information about income tax in 6 countries, namely Belgium, Canada, Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, and France. Capitalize this R based on civil status. Overall, all countries except Finland showed a higher income tax for singles rather than married people, except Finland. Okay, that's correct. Good. The income tax for both single and married, okay, is the highest in Denmark, amounting to 30 and 25 respectively. 30 and 25. Okay. The second highest rate is observed in Belgium, where the income tax for singles is close to Denmark's '(s) figure. However, we don't say married ones, we say, however, for married citizens or married people, it is far lower than 20. Okay, let me see this. Far lower than 20. Okay, you could have been a little more specific there. That was a little vague. Let me try it again. The second highest rate is observed in Belgium, where the income tax for singles is close to Denmark's '(s) figure. However, for married people, it is around 15. Okay? Finland is only one country. There, this rate is the same regardless civil status, counting for far more than 20. All right, here this sentence has some problems. I don't understand what that means. Is only one country. I'm really unclear about that. Finland. So far you've told us about Denmark, you've told us about Belgium, and now you're talking to us about Finland. Let's see what you said. This doesn't really work though grammatically. So Finland is the only country where the rate is the same regardless of civil status, amounting to approximately 25 each. Okay, that would have been a better way of expressing this. For the country on the right extreme end, what is that? France? For the country on the right extreme end, we can witness the income tax for singles is relatively close to a Belgian figure for married, while the figure for married French people is slightly lower than 10. All right, we have to clean up the grammar in this sentence. It's a little awkward. So, in France, income tax for singles is relatively close to Belgium's figure for married, okay, which you've already told us about. Okay. While the figure for married French people is slightly lower than 10%. Okay. You know what I would have liked here? I don't mind you comparing it to Belgium. That's not my problem, but you also should have probably told us what that figure is. Okay. So when you said the income tax for singles is around 15, comma, close to Belgium's figure for married people, okay, etc., etc. The lowest rate for experiences, that's a weird word here. The lowest rate for both categories is in Czech Republic, totaling slightly lower than 10 for singles and roughly 5 for married. Get rid of this at. Now, it looks to me like you missed a country, which is not super tragic because you at least mentioned it by name in your introduction. You didn't talk about Canada at all. So from what I understand, you decided to go here and then you went here because it was the biggest difference, and I guess this was the second highest for singles. Okay. And then, all right, I think I see what you did. And then you just went down the row, who was what. Um, it was okay. I think that when you do it like this, it sometimes makes it less clear. What you could have done and what might have been more effective is if you had just treated each of these paragraphs separately. What do I mean? I mean, maybe you could have had a paragraph for singles, and then you could have had a paragraph for married. And then when you got to the paragraph about married people's income tax, you could have then made relevant comparisons. So, yeah, I mean, you could have started with Denmark, and then you could have gone to Belgium, and then Finland, and then maybe just, straight to Czech Republic. Okay? And then in the next paragraph, you could have said, as with single people, Denmark again had the highest figure, okay, at whatever that number is, but it was followed very closely by Finland, whose income tax for married people was the same as it is for singles. Okay? Then you could have talked about Czech Republic, again saying that this pattern was repeated with it having the lowest. But then you could say that only slightly more was the figure for married people in France. And then you could have talked about Belgium and Canada together. So that was one way of doing it that I think kind of lends itself to a little more clarity. So you are making those comparisons where they're relevant, where they're important, but at least the description of it reads a little cleaner. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at international marketing. Let's see what you said here. There is a widespread acceptance that international marketing could have an invading effect to the host country. Okay, some people argue that international marketing is necessary in order to educate, provide fresh insights and ideas combined with linguistic advantages. I believe no comma is necessary, that benefits far outweigh drawbacks without is. Okay, so grammar is an issue here in this introduction. Be careful with it. This is the first impression the examiner is going to get of your writing. So just make an effort to be a little more accurate. On the one hand, international advertisements with an S can affect adversely the economy of the host country. I would have changed this around a little bit. We don't like to put an adverb between, or anything, between the verb and then the object and the object. So it should have been can adversely affect the economy of the host country. The most important objective for any advertising campaign is to persuade customers to buy their product. Therefore, sophisticated international advertisements, S, could lead to the effect where local people's preferences could switch in order to buy exported goods, imported, you mean, rather than support local production, which might be devastating for the economy. For instance, a gigantic global company, namely Coca-Cola, allocates with an S an enormous amount of money for their advertising campaign. As a result, more and more people across the globe prefer their product rather than with an A and here with a D, spend money to buy a local one without A in front of money. All right, so Olga, grammar here is an issue. Fortunately, the communicative effect of this is not hindered, and I understand what you say at all points, but it still, requires some correction along the way. I mean, you could probably say that most of the sentences had some sort of grammatical error. Okay? All right, so moving on. On the other hand, advertising also informs and educates people through the power of digital media. Nowadays, international marketing has more educational purposes than persuasive. Frequently, an advertisement empowers people with new knowledge, not only about the product, but also about the country of origin, or even expands people's knowledge in different fields. There are numerous examples where art pieces or heritage, architectural buildings, or even scientific backgrounds were popularized through advertisement. Like what? Can you think of any? Furthermore, there is an international advertising award happening yearly where the most interesting and spectacular ads receive prizes. This is irrelevant. Yeah, I wouldn't have included this. I thought what you wrote was really interesting. I would have liked you to give us a little more examples. Spreading ideas. Yeah, so spreading ideas, spreading culture, spreading language. I think you could have talked a little bit more about this. You certainly should have left this out. This felt irrelevant to me, okay? So, to conclude, apart from economical drawbacks for the host country, the international marketing provides more educational opportunities for our society and enriches, with an ES, people's lives. So and this should be a V instead of an EF, with new knowledge, singular, because knowledge is uncountable. All right, so Olga, a lot of this is very nice, but I would have to say for sure that the grammar needs to be a little more accurate. It was consistently inaccurate. Again, not to the point where I didn't understand what you were trying to say, but it still created a number of speed bumps as I was reading it. Also, the issues I mentioned before with task achievement, all of this was not entirely relevant. There was some irrelevance in your development, so I'd like to be a little concerned and a little kind of cautious. That's the word I wanted. A little cautious about this. Okay. Let's see if we can get you on the course. Okay, I'd like to see that. Alternatively, you can sign up for an essay correction package with us, but I'd like to continue working with you and help you kind of overcome some of these weak areas that we're now pointing out. Okay. Hopefully we'll see more work from you in the future. I look forward to it. So good luck.